Hello, I'm Denise.
And I'm Ali.
And together we are DNA.
And this is our podcast.
Soul to Soul.
Welcome.
Welcome to you. It's been a while. And it was back in February, I think, since we last did these. Maybe these are our winter things that we do, Ali, because we started on the 19th of September last year with our podcast. And here we are, first a week or so in October, starting back again. So a lot has happened since we saw you last. A lot has happened since we saw you last.
Yes.
And we've learned so much since we saw you last.
A lot because we've had to.
In a lot, yes. Isn't that the way that you learn? Is like, because you have to, right? It's a need-to-know basis. And so, yeah, we had to take some time out from doing this kind of work and to do this kind of stuff. We were just on the back of putting out our EP. Still go and have a listen. It's called Home, and it's Spotify, etc. All your usual places. It's there under DNA Home. So we just launched that, and there was other things going on as well behind the scenes. And then Ali got really super ill.
I did.
And we didn't exactly know what it was all about. And as vocal and well-being professionals and mental health professionals, we got busy working out what that was about and what was going on right there. So here we are. We know what's going on now. So we can tell you a bit about that if and when it feels okay for you, my darling. And it's good to be back and to see you. And I busied myself in the meantime with learning all about what was going on for you, and I released a couple of poems, I think, since in a book called Soulful Poems. 3 and 4, I think, have come out since I spoke to you last. Also, go and check them out if you feel like it.
Yeah. Although it maybe feels like you haven't heard much from us, it's still been a busy time. Denise was very much looking after me and keeping me right, but also completing things and getting things done so that when I was better I didn't have to do those things, which I really appreciate.
Oh, you're most welcome.
I know how tricky it was because it was just hard enough being with a sickly wife.
Yeah, you were super sick, and it was a bit scary, to be honest. I think we both were a wee bit utterly terrified. But you're right, I did complete this, and I went outside wash block, not said that before, wash block, to do with the cabins outside. We got that completed, high five for that. We're still working on the inside bathrooms, did finish the cottage and stuff like that. We finished the studio space, we finished this space. Unfortunately, there's other things in the studio now that are going on for the next bit. So yeah, we did a lot.
You can't see it. You can just see this nice clean room that we're sitting in. Hooray!
So yes, there was a lot that we that I did behind the scenes as we figured out what the heck was going on with your health. And there were some really key moments to that along the way, and I don't know how ready you are to talk about any of that or none of that. That's okay, but I do want to give you time to bring yourself in.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who knows me will probably have heard me talking a bit about hypermobility for a long time. So I finally have a diagnosis relating to that.
I would cheer and go hooray, but it has led to another whole bunch of diagnoses.
I mean, it's one of those things, if anyone who lives with a chronic condition will know it can be quite hard to get a firm diagnosis, and for a lot of people there's the statistics are quite like where it can take 10 years to get a diagnosis or 20 years. I think it's quite common for people with hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos, which is the diagnosis that I got, it's 20 plus years to get a diagnosis.
And when we started to trace that back, it's
longer.
And now you've also had a birthday since we saw you last. But it's 41 years since in getting that diagnosis sorted out. And,
I would trace it back to being primary school aged, having growing pains and fainting and various different things that we're just all put down to, oh, it's your age, it's the growing, it's the this, it's the that. And as awareness grows, we can discourage those things being said, because it shouldn't hurt to grow, and it's not normal to not be able to stand up without fainting. These are not like normal things, and
they're signs. They're signs of other things to come.
Of course. And so basically,
or can be. I'm not a medical doctor. It's not my doctorness, but
no, neither of us are. But we are
We're
both living with the bodies that we have and the things we've had to learn. But yeah, there's been various things as well as that. Some other chronic conditions and some thyroid issues and Bell's palsy and swelling in my brain, which was
a virus in your brain was particularly unsavoury and a little scary for us all.
And I smile and laugh. It wasn't funny.
It wasn't really funny at all. And also something called Hashimoto's. If you have any of these things, drop us a message. Say hi, because we're not new to it. We've done a huge amount of research in the last 7 months, but we have
a lot of the research that's useful and information that's useful comes from people who have lived it and are doing their own sets of research. I mean, TikTok is an amazing wealth of information, not as well as like loads of stupid stuff and kittens and people falling over, but actually
we also enjoy, to be fair, we do also enjoy that. Don't judge.
Gotta get your kicks somewhere.
You do.
But actually the amount of skill and knowledge that comes from people having to research and find out themselves, because actually the medical model offers nothing or a little or enough, but actually what we look at often with people and ourselves is thriving, not just surviving. So some of the medical interventions are about getting like a level that works well enough. You can live in that place, but it's not a thriving place.
We're looking for the maximum well-being, and by that it's like there are days that it's more difficult, and we completely, I was also in hospital a couple of years ago and gave everybody especially a bit of a fright. We're not against medical models. We want to work with the medical teams that have saved certainly my life on more than one occasion now, and
I had a very useful doctor that recognised the neurological issues that I had going on, because with so many different diagnoses I thought I had enough, but then there were
more things kept revealing themselves, didn't they? And I think from a voice, performance, psychotherapeutic trauma recovery person that I am, to be that in the mix with it all, and as we get back towards letting you hear the rest of the album, voice and hypermobility is not unusual in any sense of the words, and there are some specific things that are really useful to know in that, because of all the other connective tissue and other stuff that's going on within a system, and traumatic events that have been going on in a system. So it's really pushed me a direction with all of that, and after my own keyhole stuff went on, and we were trying to get me to get up to sing. It was such a breakthrough to get up and sing this launch. We must put up at some point, Ali said, rolling up her sleeves. When you've got the energy too, it'd be good to put up some of the launch, because it was such a beautiful happening, and it was such something I wasn't actually sure after my keyhole surgery if I was going to be able to have that amount of voice again, and so. And for us to have that together was beautiful. And Mo Ford also came up, our other colleague came up, psych approach, soul approach, colleague came up and sang with us on that day, and it just aligned so beautifully. So we've got it, we recorded it, and it's there for life. why am I telling you this? Because it was, for me to be able to do that, I've been working on that kind of thing, and voice post-surgery, voice post-menopause, voice post moving house, post all of that. And now we've got all of this other stuff that we're having to understand as well. Other stuff being Ali and all that's gone on for her. Such a beautiful soul and a beautiful voice. It was very important very early on, not only that we got you upright and back to being medically, clinically going the right direction, but also that we managed to get back as far as we possibly could to, and the richness of all of these diagnoses coming into your embodied system that makes you such a beautiful sound and a beautiful, unmissable singer. So I went into sort of freak out mode at that point, and needed to understand how we could get you upright enough to be heard and seen in exactly the way you want to be heard and seen again. And I know that this hasn't only happened to us. I know that a lot of people are going through their own diagnosis, their own treatment plans right now.
Or trying to get a diagnosis, which is a
Indeed.
Painful process.
It is.
Really.
And also, since we moved house, one of the things that pinged up was neurodiversity for us both. So we know that these are buzzwords at the minute, but as singers, as artists, as vocal artists, as humans, we're right in the mix with all of that, and it's changing the shape of what it is we're going on to do and able to offer here.
And
Go for it.
as well-being researchers,
Yeah.
this has been a very rich research.
So beautifully put,
process.
that word, rich. Rich. It's been really, really rich.
I mean,
Undigestably rich at times, but it's really rich.
we
You're
worked
right.
really hard on your breathing, repairing what had been moved about and messed about and
stabbed.
scarred, basically.
Tabbed.
For me, my symptoms were vast and needed like quite a lot of different perspectives of rehab that we didn't know about.
That's right.
I mean, yes, I'm actively working on my voice because it's really important to me, and with thyroid issues, what it
And
be
also
is,
with the neurological stuff that was left over. From
yeah, I mean, the neurological stuff was the most disturbing of the symptoms, because I could look at writing and see a word and I would think I know that word, but I couldn't remember how to say it, and that went on for a while. And also I couldn't really to start with, I kind of was walking in circles, like only half of my body was really doing stuff properly, and my mouth didn't work properly, and I would say different letters to the letter I was reading. So words would come out, they would kind of be close to what they were meant to be, but it was the same letters, interchangeable. It was a really strange process, and could have put me in a place of just being really like, I'm changed for life and I don't know how to fix all of this. And actually what we did was look at all the different kinds of ways to rehab vestibular exercises. I read, so sometimes I would spell words out and then I would be like, okay, I can work out what that word is. Some of the books I read out loud had very hard words in them anyway. Words that literally words that I
look them up.
So I'm still learning, but I feel like that bit of the process is past, and it's like 1% is what we aim for each day. Can we get a 1% improvement of anything? And those all
and even half
add
a percent, and if it's a 3%, all of these. What I love about the percents is you can have 1,000%, which is like that really appeals to me. You don't have to just have 100%. You have 1,001%, and each of these percents and half percent they build up, and we really did work at that on the percent. How many percents can we get a wee bit more of, a wee bit more of, a wee bit more of? And you were talking about perspectives, and I got a different perspective. I was being cared for after my surgery, and 2 years of rehab to where we are now, over that now. I'm as good as I'm going to get.
No, she's not. She's getting better every day.
You're so sweet. But I got a different perspective of being a carer, as opposed to being the one that was cared for, and in an extreme sort of situation, which led to a PowerPoint. You can imagine, it's me. So there was certainly information in what is it like to be that needed by somebody else who can't stand up, who can't use their voice, who can't speak, who's a whole bunch of stuff's going on for. And so I learned about ableism. I haven't experienced until these times, just how maybe ableist some of my, because it's never been in my experience before, but maybe how some of my thinking had been.
And how the world is that we live in,
Yeah.
and there are actually a lot of things put in place to help people.
Yeah. And accessing them.
But it is about learning how to access things. An example is we had tickets to go and see a concert at the Oval that we bought before I got sick, and it was like we were months into the rehab of me, and we were like, "This is good. I can probably do this. Let's go. We can do it." And it was probably one of the most challenging things that I've done, which it wouldn't usually have been. It's just going to see a concert.
Remembering we are vocal artists, we are singers, and usually on the stage, but not this time.
But so that was a huge panic and real struggle for my system, and all it was being surrounded by people and having to go up and down some stairs to get to her. That's all it was. But it wasn't. It was lights and music and feeling and a lot for an autonomic nervous system, which is one of the issues I have, is a dysfunction of that. We're working on it.
We are, because we want to be centre stage again, right?
And there is something about going, oh, I didn't realise how hugely stimulating all of those things was before. For a system that could tolerate all that stimulation, it feels nice. But for a system that is like, wow, I can't digest this right now, it's a lot. And if you know us, you know we're not the sort of people who want to ever live a limited life. So it's finding ways to go, okay, how can we make that a more digestible experience? And that's partly responsibility for me and for us, but also like, what can the environments that we want to go into do to make it possible? And actually there are loads of environments that offer accessible spaces. I'm not there yet. I'm not invited in yet. If that makes any sense. Anyway, I think there's another thing that came out of all of this, is there's a potential to feel shame as someone who has put a lot of effort into well-being, understanding and helping other people, and how did this happen? How did I let this happen? And actually, I think the understanding I got is, with all the knowledge in the world, you can't prepare for every stressor that's going to come at you in this world that we live in. And so I feel like compassion for myself rather than judgment, and if there's any way to look at it, there's definitely good learning to be had in this process, and I feel there is a richness in what we're learning for ourselves, and also for what and how we want to work and bring to
forward.
our work going forward.
Both as the retreat centre and the wellness side of things, and as vocal artists who want to be out there and perform as well. Loads of information for that. And when you were ill, we still ran a couple of things still happened here. I ran a breath workshop, and Mo ran a burnout workshop as well here. The space is developing beautifully, even whilst we figured this out and rested, and I so enjoyed working here, though I was concerned. It was right at the beginning of when you weren't doing so great. So much has moved on, so much has moved forward for us, and so much has happened. It's going to take us a few podcasts to get it all out, I think.
Yeah.
But I would just like to really applaud that you are here, and that was a dullion, they would say in Scotland. It really was a dullion, and I feel closer. I didn't even think I could, but I do, yet again.
And I thank you. I appreciate you so much.
I just have a vision of me running around with a phone behind you at the beach going, look how you're walking, look how you're walking, heels down, heels down, heels down, and all the voice stuff that we've done that I didn't know I needed to know or didn't know. I've learned a lot, not just in our professional capacities, but about me and about you and about us.
And I'm sure the learning is still to come.
Oh yeah, no, that's it now, I'm finished. That's it.
Got it.
I thought
Tick.
Researching doesn't work like that, does it?
No,
You've got a researcher's head, it's for life.
What is it? Action research.
Action research.
Like real
in the
lived.
moment. Luckily, that's what we did the PhD on.
Yeah.
Was action research. It's like, do a piece of research, see what happened, then decide what bit is the next bit of research based on the outcomes that you just had. So that's a brilliant, for me,
That is life.
It's life. It's life in a nutshell. And it stood us in good stead.
It did.
Through this next bit that we've been on for 8 months now, Ali.
Yes. So on we go. Our deepest hope is that there are
still there.
Big
And
pauses in this podcast
Yes.
unless we decide to do it.
Indeed.
Very consciously. But we're hoping to be back and bringing stuff to you. And I personally, I'm sure Denise is the same, would love to hear from anyone, any of you, who have any knowledge, experience, questions about any of that stuff. Because personally, I've felt like it can be a scary, lonely place to be on the outside of the information of things, and we don't always get everything from one place. We don't always get all the information we need from the doctor or this specialist or that specialist. And actually, if there is anything that we can share or have shared,
we're here for
it's going to bring us all closer together, and there's power in people.
There is power in people, and there's power in vulnerability, and thanks for bringing that
Of
to
course.
this bit of process, for sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And thank you.
Yeah, and we won't leave it as long next time, and thanks to all those people who did reach out and were kind of in the mix a bit of what was going on and gave us support. Really appreciate it. Okay.
So thank you for listening. You can catch us on YouTube, Noble House Scott. You can follow our podcast on whatever platform you listen to your podcasts on. And you can check out our website, noblehouse.scott.
Yes. Perfect. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.